All right. You're good. Go ahead. All right. Whoa, whoa. You got to be at least this tall to get in. Get out of here.
Hello and welcome. I thought we would take a little bit of time to talk about feeling the need to get permission sometimes. And this is a concept that has been brought up by Objective Personality, Dave and Shan, and I thought it was very enlightening for myself. So I figured it'd be nice to have a little bit of time to kind of talk about it with you guys. So when I think about this concept of permission, the first question I think of is, why did we lose the permission? What has happened for us to feel like we don't have the permission to think or do or say or act in a certain way? And it really boils down to our perception of the limits that are being placed on us by the world or by others. A common phrase that you might think in your head, or you might even say out loud, is, I'm not allowed to, and then finish that sentence with something that you feel like you don't have the permission. We've been talking about mindsets a lot. It's attached to a fixed mindset because in that sense, there is just something that is very boxy about it. Like, this is my sandbox, this is where I'm allowed to play, but I can't, for whatever reason, go outside of that box. And it's, again, our perception of what others are expecting of us or what even we're expecting of ourselves. Now, on the flip side, if we were going to compare it to when we do feel allowed, when we do feel like we have permission to think or feel or say something, usually that's in the areas in our life where we have a growth mindset. The doors are not closed to us. The doors are open. We can explore, we can go, we can think anything and do anything because we feel confident and secure in that particular area of our life. I'm going to put on the screen some examples of areas in your life that you may feel a restriction towards you or others. What pressures are you feeling on a daily basis? I'm not allowed to change who I am or change what I know to be true. I'm not allowed to trust myself, my values, and my reasons, or I'm not allowed to be me, my true, authentic self. So more outward focused, it might be, I'm not allowed to share my information because it's not ready yet. Or I'm not allowed to finish searching for answers. The tribe keeps wanting me to move on. And then we have, I'm not allowed to be left alone to get my own stuff done. And I'm not allowed to avoid the chaos that others or the world forces me into. Those are just general statements, and maybe something has kind of spoken to you as far as what you're feeling for yourself, an area in your life where you're feeling like this pressure to do or be or not do or not be in a particular way, or etc. I think I've made that really clear. So I was inspired by the topic based on the conversations from Dave and Shan, and then I ran across something on, everyone's going to say,
Pinterest.
Kind of gave me an idea of how to kind of marry the two. So yes, I have the concept, and now I have an approach to apply the concept to myself, and so that's what I'm going to share with you. So the question that came from the prompt, what pressures are you feeling on a daily basis? And after I started listing things out, I realized that it actually fit into two different categories. One of those categories being how I am responding to others, like when I am going out to others, this is what I'm doing. And then the other category would be my perceptions of what people are wanting of me. So you're going to see the two different categories in my table. Yes, gotta have a table. I'm going to claim the title of Queen of Tables. It's not because, I deserve the title. It's, I'm just claiming it. What I gave you before was very general statements, but I thought it would be better for me, in order to attack things, would be to come up with specific things that I have thought or that I say that fall into the categories that I shared earlier. Stop what you're doing right now and help me. Now, I kind of said that in a very urgent manner, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. It could be more along the lines of, oh, hey, can you help me out with this? And so, like, literally, yes, let me drop what I'm doing and I will go run and help you with whatever you're doing, whatever you need, because apparently that I feel that pressure. I don't have permission to say no to something like that. So next one would be move out of my way. Now, I don't literally hear people say that to me. What I do feel is like when somebody is coming my way, I must move out of the way in order to avoid them. If someone is talking, I'm going to give them the space. I have a hard time kind of entering in conversations because I can't move people out of the way. I'm like kind of a hands-off, like, or is there an entrance? Okay, I'll go in there, but otherwise it's very difficult for me to butt in, I guess, for lack of a better word. I don't have permission to exert myself. And finally, the biggest and I would say most intrusive in my life would be this last one. We are looking for someone who is acceptable, accommodating, practical, or helpful. Be that person. So I get that feeling just from others, and I feel like that's what I need to be for others. And so I don't have the permission to be myself. I have to be what others expect of me. And so that's where that kind of permission is, I would say it's really stifling me, because I feel like I have to be what others are wanting or needing. For some reason in my brain, it's like, nope, you need to be this way. This is the way you need to be. And it's just not right. I'm realizing that now. This has been my journey, these few months, these years. It's been realizing that I'm putting myself in this box, and it's not in a good way. It's not in a good frame of mind. My mindset is just not good. It's not complete. It's off and it's skewed and it's not looking at the entire picture. It is just laser light focus on one thing and one thing alone, and that is to be accepted. And this fear of not being accepted is what's causing me to lose the permission. So now in the category of how I'm responding to others. So I have actually these statements that I'm going to be sharing with you are statements that I make all the time, and I'm just realizing how much I am making these statements. I'm not allowed to do something unless I ask or say these things. Is my idea okay? I'm thinking this. What do you think? And lastly, should I do this or that or whatever? And so again, I feel the need to ask permission to think a certain way, to feel a certain way, to do something. I need to have this ping back from someone else to just make sure that what I'm doing is okay and that it's lined up with what other people are thinking. I mean, it's good to do that every now and then in a balanced state, not all the time for every single decision. I should be able to make some decisions on my own. I think where I fall into that trap is when I know it's going to affect or influence other people. From the activity off of Pinterest, it had this question for you to respond to, and then secondly, it was to come up with statements that would be kind of like your mantra to yourself to remind you that you have the permission to do XYZ in this particular area. So what I did was I took all my statements that I had come up with where I feel restricted and stuck, and then I came up with statements that would kind of rebuff, is that the word I'm looking for? Rebuff the original statements. I came up with, I have permission to say no, stand my ground, push on others. Now, all three of those with the caveat of I do need to pick and choose when I do that. It can't be all the time. I'm learning. That's for another video. I have permission to be myself, trust myself, think happy thoughts about myself, permission to think through before answering or taking action. Doesn't have to be right away. I have permission to take care of me. Now, one thing that I was reflecting on when I was coming up with these statements is that I was trying to avoid loss and grief. But in a sense, I still ended up with loss and grief. For a long time, I didn't realize it. And now that I have realized it, I even more so recognize the loss of myself. And there is grief in that, in knowing that things could have been different, things could have been better maybe. There is an unknown factor there that does provide some grief in recognizing that because I let this I'm not allowed to attitude kind of permeate my life, that I have consequences for those actions. But I also realize that when I do these other items now, when I do start exerting myself a little bit more and putting myself out there more, there's also going to be grief and loss. But I know that do I know that? I can trust that when I am more true to and more balanced to who I am and what others need, then everything will be more valuable, everything will be deeper, it will be not only my relationships with others, but even my relationship with myself. And yes, that's going to cause some loss if someone doesn't like this new me who stands up for herself, and it's going to cause grief because I'm going to lose friends, possibly. I'm going to maybe lose a little bit of the connection with the outside world that I've been striving for so long. But I will be able to build myself up and earn more of the significance in a different way, more of what I'm giving myself.
Are you?
Not to worry. I have a permit.
This just says I can do what I want.
So that was just another way to think about the fixed versus the growth mindset that you have in yourself somewhere, where you feel restricted, where you feel like you're not allowed to do or be or say something, and really analyzing what is causing this. Why are you feeling this way? Once you know something, then you can do something about it. And a lot of times, like, you've probably spent many years, like me, your entire life possibly, where you have not really considered these things, and you've kind of just been plugging along, doing what you normally do. And so I encourage you to just start thinking about these things. Ask yourself some of these questions. Come up with a way that's going to help you get to the bottom of some of these questions. Well, that is all that we have for our video today. I hope that you join me next time when we look at something different. And with that, I will say goodbye. I think I need it. You don't need to hear all 40 minutes, but I need to process it for 40 minutes. Goodbye. What kind of wave was that? That was kind of like a maybe wave. Well, I was kind of thinking right then that